The history of the nation called by God. After man had spread out fairly extensively over the earth through these 8 family members, God called one particular person. That person was Abram. Abram was living in a place called Ur of the Chaldeans, which was in the region of present-day Iraq, but when God called him, he travelled towards the west. After leaving Ur of the Chaldeans in the region of ancient Babylonia, he stayed in Haran for a short while. After his father Terah died, Abram left his homeland and moved into the land that God had designated for him. Just as many people who had been living in Europe crossed over to the United States in search of religious freedom or in order to earn a living, Abram, the forefather of the Jews, was also a migrant. He moved away from the land of ancient Babylonia and gradually travelled westward until he entered the land that is now called Israel. After that, God changed Abram's name to Abraham, and when he was advanced in years, God gave him a son. That son was called Isaac, and Isaac had a son that he named Jacob. Even today, Jewish people are proud of their ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and will often speak with pride of the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Isaac was born and lived in the land of Canaan, and he had twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau was the elder twin, and Jacob the younger. Later, when they had grown up, Jacob bought the birthright from Esau. One day Esau came home hungry from a hunting trip, and finding Jacob cooking a red stew, he asked him to give him some of it. Jacob agreed to give him some of the stew in return for his brother's birthright. "I'm starving hungry right now. What use is my birthright to me? I can't even see it. I'll just give it to him." Since Esau did not value his birthright and sold it to Jacob, it was Jacob who came to carry on the family line. There was a similar situation at the time of his father Isaac. Before Isaac was born, Abraham, being without success in having the child he longed for, had turned to Hagar, an Egyptian woman and not his original wife, and had Ishmael through her. Even today, the name of Ishmael often appears in the names of Arab leaders or places. This is because they are descendants of this same Ishmael. At that time also, Ishmael was the firstborn, but it was Isaac, the second son, who carried on the family line. Later, Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph, the 11th of these sons, was hated by his brothers, and they sold him into slavery in Egypt. Later, one Egyptian referred to Joseph as a young Hebrew. I once read in a book that Hebrew means the people who have crossed over. I also read somewhere that Abraham crossed the river Jordan to come to his destination, and his route across this river, together with the north-south course of the river itself, form an image of a cross. It is an invisible cross, but we find this kind of phenomenon flowing throughout the history of Israel. Later, Joseph interpreted the dreams of the king of Egypt and was made governor, and then his brothers went down to Egypt in search of food, and the whole family came to settle there. As they lived in Egypt for the following 400 years, they became a great nation. Later still, under the leadership of Moses, they came out of Egypt and crossed the Red Sea. As God had promised, they returned to their own land in the 4th generation. This is the Exodus, the famous escape into the wilderness. After that, the Israelites were not able to enter the land of Canaan right away, and they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. They received the law through Moses, and later they entered the land of Canaan. They lived there for a long time, fighting with the surrounding nations, and then one day they asked God, through the prophet Samuel, for a king like the kings of the neighbouring countries. God was not pleased with their request, but he gave them a king as they asked. After that, kings ruled over the Israelites in the course of their history. The first king was Saul, the second David, and the third was David's son, Solomon. During the reign of Solomon's son Rehoboam, the nation became divided into 2. Jeroboam, one of Solomon's officials, took control over 10 of the 12 tribes, leaving only the tribes of Judah and Benjamin for Rehoboam. In this way, a clear distinction was made between Judah in the south and Israel in the north. But the people disobeyed God and did not listen to the words of God proclaimed to them through the prophets. In the end, Israel in the north was taken captive by the Assyrians, and Judah in the south by the Babylonians. They lived in exile for many years. Then one of the prophets discovered, while reading the writings of the prophets, that this life in exile was to come to an end after 70 years. Moved by what he read, he turned to prayer. So in the end, the Israelites returned to their homeland.